Google taught a robot to use its whole body. A startup will sell you a home android for $20,000, and the entire industry is quietly hiding the same asterisk. Today we read the fine print, and the fine print is wild. This month in robotics, Google DeepMind shipped Gemini Robotics 2, a model that can drive a humanoid from its feet to its fingertips, and 1X is showing off a home robot that plays Xbox and fetches snacks. According to the announcement reels, the age of household androids has officially arrived, and your dishwasher is about to become somebody's co-worker. Or at least, that is what the pitch decks say. Because when you read the numbers these companies publish about their own machines, the story changes fast. In today's video, we fact-check the humanoid wave with receipts, Google's own success rates, a $20,000 robot with a human inside, and the one country actually shipping. It is August 12, 2026, and this is the AI Code Report. First, why everyone believes. In 5 years, language models went from autocomplete toys to tools so good that Stack Overflow now receives less than 1% of the questions it got at its peak. If software fell that fast, surely robots are next. The demos certainly say so. Gemini Robotics 2 is real research. The core is a vision language action model. Camera frames in plain English go in, motor commands come out, one network driving legs, torso, arms, and 22 degree of freedom hands on Apptronic's Apollo humanoid. And Google did something genuinely rare here. It published its own success rates. Unscrewing a light bulb, 92%. Screwing it back in, 36%. Sweeping with a dustpan, 32%. Picking something up off the floor, 45.7%. That is not a robot butler. That is a coin flip with servos. And here's the tell. Take the 5-fingered hand off, give the same model a simple 2-finger gripper, and the numbers transform. 74% on general pick and place, 79% on sorting tools, 89.6% on precise insertion. Same brain, same week. The robot is competent right up until you ask it to have fingers. That is not a software problem you can patch on a Tuesday. The safety paper is even more honest. Tuned to keep false alarms under 5%, the system misses over 40% of humans entering the robot's workspace, and the report admits that no model currently operates in the ideal top right quadrant, which is a very academic way of saying, maybe do not stand near the robot. Meanwhile, 1X will take $20,000 for a Neo home robot today, or $499 a month if you enjoy queues. 10,000 pre-orders arrived in 5 days. Confirmed deliveries to actual customers so far, 0. And about those demos. In January, a 1X researcher claimed any prompt becomes a fully autonomous robot action. In July, reviewers watching the flagship video concluded most of it was a human operator in VR gear. The Wall Street Journal's hands-on was blunter. I didn't see Neo do anything autonomously. To be fair, the company barely hides it. The CEO says a human stays in the loop for a while yet, and that your chores become training data. So you pay $20,000, and you are the dataset. Even Figure's CEO, a direct competitor, publicly roasted the approach as staging fake videos with teleoperators in the next room. When robotics companies start fact-checking each other, grab popcorn. Not that the fact-checkers are spotless. Figure told the world it had a fleet of robots working at BMW. BMW's spokesperson said it was one robot doing one task, outside production hours. Figure is valued at $39 billion, which prices each of its few hundred robots somewhere north of $100 million. Tesla promised roughly 10,000 Optimus units built in 2025, with thousands doing useful work by December. On the January earnings call, Musk's own words, "It's not in usage in our factories in a material way." And the bartending robots from the Wii Robot Party? Remote-controlled employees confirmed by Bloomberg. One robot even admitted it to a guest. So, why can a model ace competition math and still fumble a Ziploc bag? Roboticists have known since 1988. Moravec's paradox: reasoning is computationally cheap, while perception and movement are the expensive part, because evolution spent 500 million years optimizing them. Chess was never the hard problem. Laundry is. There is also a brutal engineering difference. A language model emits one token at a time, whenever it likes, and a wrong token merely embarrasses it. A robot streams continuous joint commands to dozens of motors, hundreds of times per second, and every small error feeds the next one until physics files a complaint. Then comes the data famine. Language models ate trillions of tokens of internet. The robot equivalent does not exist. Physical intelligence trained its home cleaning model on roughly 400 hours of data from about 100 homes. Meta's world model watched 1 million hours of video but under 62 hours of real robot data. Berkeley's Ken Goldberg ran the arithmetic in science robotics. Measured in human time, language models trained on about 100,000 years of reading. The largest robot dataset ever reported, about 1 year. At current collection rates, the ChatGPT of robots arrives in roughly 100,000 years, slightly after GTA 6, which leaves the field arguing between imitation learning, where humans puppeteer robots one demonstration at a time, and reinforcement learning, which produces spectacular kung fu in simulation and remarkably few clean kitchens. Physical Intelligence, reportedly raising at an $11 billion valuation, wrote in its own April paper that tasks the model has seen succeed over 90% of the time, while unseen tasks land between 60 and 80. The co-founder's roadmap, verbatim. No timeline for commercialization. Now, who actually ships? China. 97% of the humanoids shipped in the first half of 2026 were Chinese, and Agibot alone moved 8,400 units. You can order a Unitree G1 today for $13,500 with one catch. The base model cannot be programmed. The developer edition runs up to $74,000, which is serious money for a robot that mostly does choreography. And what do the shipped robots do all day? China's own state media reports that over half of robot rental orders were for New Year greetings and mall performances, and every rental ships with a human operator included. At Beijing's humanoid half marathon, 47 of 102 teams finished, and the fastest machine on the course was being driven by a person. The robot economy is real. It is currently a talent agency. Add it up. Roughly $74 billion of private valuation across 5 Western humanoid startups against $1.6 billion of revenue for the entire global industry this year. Goldman says the market reaches $38 billion by 2035. Citi says $209 billion by the same year. When the banks disagree by 5.5x, that is not a forecast. That is a mood. Even the famous robots are rationed. Every new Atlas built this year goes to Hyundai's factories or Google DeepMind, with outside customers waiting until 2027. For scale, Boston Dynamics has sold roughly 2,000 Spot Dogs in total since 2020. While Morgan Stanley still projects 1 billion humanoids by 2050. One of those numbers came from a spreadsheet that has never met a robot. So no, the android Butler is not 18 months away. Last Christmas, the Wall Street Journal ran a headline saying even the companies making humanoid robots think they are overhyped. But this is not a funeral either. The real signal is that the software layer is opening up years before the hardware can cash the checks. Pi 0.5 ships Apache licensed weights. NVIDIA's Groot models are a download away, and Google sells its embodied reasoner through a public API. Right now is the cheapest time to learn the stack, while the robots still miss the light bulb. This has been the AI Code Report. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.